r/rules horror. Posted by u/suvin_is_a_must. Meet your neighbors, Skeleton Heights, Level 1, Apartments 1 to 6. So, I felt like writing a bit more about Skeleton Heights, but as I'm still not certain if I have the creativity to stretch it out for several posts, I figured I'd just drop this and flare it under rules for now. Enjoy. Hello, Resident 5.5, 5th level, 5th apartment. The recent letter I left under your doormat is not longer there, so I presume you've read it thoroughly. You are welcome. It has occurred to me that I have told you to be a good neighbor, but how are you going to do that if you know next to nothing about the people here? So, here I am writing the first of 9 letters telling you all about us and naturally, providing you with a comprehensive set of rules that will help you keep your head attached to your neck when interacting with us. Don't flatter yourself. I just want to sleep peacefully at night. For starters, allow me to debunk the myths one level is safer than another and the danger increases with each level. The crazies here are spread out evenly across all levels, thank you very much. Another thing, I go into detail with residents I feel you should tread carefully with. Meaning, we'll only briefly touch on Apartment 4 and 5 for Level 1. Resident 1.4 and Resident 1.5, they're both human like me, and sometimes our intended victims overlap. I guess that's all I have to say about them. You'll know what they look like when they come for you while you're walking along the Level 1 corridor. Tip: don't let them get you before I get another go. Now for the more special ones. Resident 1.1, she comes from a long line of vampires. The universal rules apply: a vampire can only enter your house when invited, keep your neck covered when walking around on a full moon. Blood red eyes, stereotypically pale. You can't miss her. We've come to a general consensus that the first person she runs into when she's starving takes one for the team. She has the really bad habit of forgetting to stop once she starts drinking, so don't be afraid to put up a struggle if she hasn't let go of you in a while. Unfortunately, there's also a warning for this: her fangs can embed themselves very, very deeply in your neck and sudden movements can rip out your jugular. Resident 1.2, thin, lanky guy. Wears a monocle for some fucking reason. He claims he lives alone, but when you stare through the peephole on his door in the morning you can see a bowl filled with dog food. If you're brave enough like me to repeatedly check it out as the day goes by, in spite of the shotguns hanging on his wall, you'll notice the bowl gradually emptying. We hope it's just a rare breed of dog that doesn't bark, or have fur, or need to be taken on walks at all. You, and us are better off not knowing. Don't ask him about it, and just remember to give a friendly wave whenever you run into him. Resident 1.6, no, it's not vacant though you can't see anyone inside. Yes, we're certain someone lives in there because an empty apartment shouldn't cause a chill to run down your back and make you feel like someone is watching you walk past. But we don't care. They get their decorations up in time for Halloween and Christmas, at least on the outside, and that's all that matters. Buckle up, because 1.3 is a real handful. Resident 1.3, he's either a psychiatrist or a psychoanalyst. I'll admit I still don't really know the difference. There are 3 things he likes: being called doctor, psychoanalyzing you from the way you talk, walk and dress, telling people about the film he invested half of his life savings in to produce and release. For him, you'll need to follow 2 sets of rules when he psychoanalyzes you. 1. When you really listen carefully, the things he says make absolutely no sense. He'll observe you on a bad hair day and conclude you are a neglected child whose parents never took care of your basic needs, which affected you in many ways to this day. It's the way he delivers his lines that has you unconsciously nodding your head and believing his word is the gospel truth, and it settles nicely in your brain as his buttery voice lines your ears. And God, his gray eyes are real fucking mesmerizing to gaze into while he talks. He once said to me, "You strangled your mother," and I nearly believed the bastard until I remembered that no, I poisoned her. When your guard is down, he'll slip in a bad idea or 2. Why not call your friend to come over to check out the sunset from your floor, and give them a hard shove from behind? You might end up doing what he suggests. 2. One way to resist his influence is to talk over him, preferably at the same speed. If you can, psychoanalyze him back on the spot and make him so distracted he loses his train of thought and stops talking. 3. You'll need to be as natural as possible. Don't make it obvious that you're trying to block out his voice and act as if you're simply as interested in psychology as he is and wanting him to hear your thoughts. 4. If you fail, you'll never be the same person again. Anyone who has ever passively listened to him as he prattles on find themselves becoming what he says they are, whether good or bad. His film, Resident 1.3 was once an aspiring movie reviewer before he decided to dabble with psychology. He might be messing with some witchcraft because some days he leaves his door open and you can see a movie theater instead of his usual living room. Really makes you wonder. He'll be standing by the door on those days and will invite you to step inside to watch a film he's screening. Now, I think life is too short to live paralyzed with fear. I'm not going to tell you to never enter. Here's what you can do. 1. He has a small catalog of films. 5 in total: Midsummer, Schindler's List, The Polar Express, Little Shop of Horrors, and his own film, The Unforgettable Life of Avery Pearson. Ask him which film he's showing before you enter. If he names any of the first 4, you're free to see the film. If he names his own film, decline. Say to him, "I've watched it before, thank you." Say it confidently and he might take your word for it. Even if he doesn't, walk away after turning him down. 2. You can watch The Unforgettable Life of Avery Pearson if you're convinced you have nothing to live for or think you can outsmart him. Know this: he used the film to prove some theory he had about delusions and brainwashing by showing it to audiences, and he came out of it delighted with his results. If you decide to avoid the film, you can skip to the end. If you decide to watch it, keep reading. 3. If you're not already at the theater, prepare some things first. Try to recall every moment of your life from young up until what you were doing before you head to his apartment, and write down significant memories on a few pieces of paper or a notebook. Sneak it into the movie theater. Sometimes Resident 1.3 will check your pockets before letting you in, sometimes he won't. To be on the safe side, memorize everything you've written down. 4. The doors will lock by themselves immediately after you step through them. Don't waste your energy banging on them, you had your chance to walk away just now. Enjoy the 2.5 hours ahead of you. That is if you watch the film correctly. You heard me right. 5. There is a correct way to watch The Unforgettable Life of Avery Pearson. You must sit in the seat as indicated on the ticket Resident 1.3 handed you as you walked in. Give the film your undivided attention and keep your eyes on the screen all the time. Stay until the credits finish rolling. No falling asleep or looking around the room. As long as you've made a mistake, you have to stay and rewatch the film. The doors will remain locked until you do it right. Do not talk to the people sitting beside you, they can afford to talk because they've seen it over and over again. 6. The film follows the life of our protagonist, Avery Pearson, and their many accomplishments throughout their life, such as curing cancer, making it big in Hollywood, and overthrowing a dictatorship. Ironically, they have a very forgettable face, the kind you can forget in a second. The kind of face that makes it very, very easy to imagine your own face over. Their ambiguous gender identity makes projecting incredibly tempting. Remind yourself as you watch that you and Avery are two different people. 7. You should have successfully watched the entire film. If not, try to do it right within the next round. Whatever you do, do not panic. Focus. 8. After many, many viewings, if you've consistently failed to do it right, you'll find that looking at Avery starts to feel like you're looking into a mirror and they sound and walk like you. At this point, you're slipping into very dangerous territory. Right before the film restarts, recite your own memories to yourself. If you can't remember them anymore, this is the end for you. 9. Your coffin is sealed when you find yourself believing with all your heart that you are Avery and Avery's achievements are yours, and can no longer remember yourself anymore. You will never leave the movie theater again, unless Resident 1.3 shoos you and his other victims to a smaller room to make space for a newer audience. You won't want to leave, anyway. At least you'll be happy from now on, deluded into believing you've lived an exciting and fulfilling life. If you follow these and just remember to be generally polite, I'm sure you'll be fine. Is this a lot to take in? Yes it is, but read it all and remember it. Signed, the resident from apartment 6 on the 3rd level.